Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this Bride of Pinbot classic Williams pinball machine that a guy brought us and wants us to fix up for him. So, if you didn't see the first video, go back and check that out. We basically looked it over and then we worked on the reinstalling the boards. We messed with some wiring on the flippers. We fixed a couple connectors in the back box. And at the end of the last video, after nearly an hour of video time and several hours of messing around with it, we had the thing up and running, but it had an issue where the face was just turning constantly. The motor was running constantly on the face. So we're going to figure that out today and mess with the face, see what we can do with that, see if we can get that all working right. So if you ever wondered how the face works on a Bride of Pinbot, you're about to find out today. Let me turn it back on and I'll show you what it's doing. So it's just running non-stop. So my theory at the end of the last video was that there must be some kind of switch in there to tell it where to stop. And that switch is not working. Now, the gentleman who brought it to us, he brought us a bag full of goodies that was inside it. This was stuff that was all down at the bottom of the game. And the first thing I notice is this. That, to me, looks like some kind of cam that would go on the shaft of a motor. That might be the whole problem. Maybe that's supposed to be on there and it's not, or something. So I just figured I'd mention that at the beginning of the video in case that ends up being it. That's my best guess, having not messed with it yet. But we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to pop up the playfield and let's look at it from the bottom and see what we're messing with here. So this era of Williams has the hinge on the playfield. It's real easy to just lean it straight up. And I was mentioning before on the other video that there's not a ton under the playfield, probably because they spent a fortune making that, designing that face and getting it to work. So a lot of the rest of it's kind of sparse, actually. Right? But the head is all right here. The first thing I'm going to do is take that cover off so we can get a better look at it. You see the motor down there? And then there's this big box area. So I'm going to see if I can slide that cover off and we can get a better look at it. So I got the cover off of it. There were a whole bunch of different types of screws holding it in. But we'll see what we can do about that. The cam is on there, or a cam just like it is on there, but it looks just like the one I was talking about. So I think I was right about it being the cam, but it looks like it's got the cam on there, which is good. So the switch or whatever stops it must be on the top. Now I haven't looked in the manual or anything yet, but we'll figure it out, right? But we got all that exposed. Everything looks good. So we got to find the switch. So we're going to have to dig in from the top and figure out where it's at. There's a motor here. The wiring to the motor. There's got to be a switch. There must be a switch. It must be on the top. Okay, so it looks like in most practical instances, unless you're going to mess with that motor, you don't really need to take that bottom piece off. But now I know. Now I know what it looks like under there. Maybe we'll need it to get to one of the faces or something. And I guess it makes it where you can see down in it where the coils are. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the top and see if we can figure out where our switch would be. Okay, so I took several screws loose, got this loose, and then there's a pretty big harness that goes down inside of it, but you can unplug it all. And then this visor, well, has a whole bunch of lamps on it and a couple flashers. Well, that's that. So now we're down to the face. So the ball goes up, falls through here, hits this little gate, and that's how it gets onto the playfield. But we're trying to see how it knows when the playfield is in the right position. Okay, so I popped one of the faces off, and now we can see a little bit what's going on. Yeah, we got a few little problems happening here. What the hell? So this is I took off the one with the two eyes. So the ball is supposed to land in here and hit this switch. So see this little thing, and if you listen close, you can actually hear it click. Right? But this one isn't on there. But it looks like it's laying over here. That fell off somehow. That's not good. So seems right. And then this one's a little bit different. Same thing though. Okay. And I see a screw laying down in there. I don't know if I can even get to it. Oh, I just knocked the thing off again, so it must not be on there very well. We might have to bend it. I can't get that screw. We'll get it here in a minute. And then there is a switch up here. I'll bet that's the one we're talking about. So this damn switch must not be adjusted right. So it's got to be, if you look, there is a little indentation right in the center. So basically, the way it's sitting right now, the switch will be open. But when it comes up on this part, it should close the switch by pushing the little roller down. And then when it gets to the next indentation, it'll open up, and that's how it knows that it's where it's supposed to be. And then it looks like on the one face, there's no indentation. So by doing that, by turning all the way around, it can probably tell by how many times the switch gets pressed what face it's on. So I'm going to turn it back on, and when it gets about halfway through, I'm going to turn it off and see if the switch is pressed. So you see what I'm saying? It's in a low spot like that one, and whenever it turns, it should be in a high spot and press the switch in. So I'm going to turn it on for just a second, and we're going to try to stop it right in the middle. Ooh, it goes quick. Okay, it dropped the screw out of the bottom. That's good. I still didn't get the timing quite right. Basically, we got to get it where, I'm sure we can go into the test menu and do it. We got to get it where that switch is being pressed when it's off of that hole. And it doesn't look like it's anywhere close to me. I mean, it's not even being close to pressed. So that's why I can't tell where it's at. It must have some clever little way of flipping it exactly one revolution each time with that cam. 1/4 revolution each time with that cam. This looks a little burnt up too. We might end up with a problem there, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so let me try to go into test mode and see if I can get to where we're turning that just a little bit. Okay, so I went into the test mode. It gave me every head error in the book. So we're in the head manual control, which seems created for a guy like me. Here I am trying to fix this switch, trying to move it just a little bit, and here's the perfect way to do it, right? So they must have foreseen this problem. So we're trying to get it where it's like halfway turned so I can see if that switch is hitting. Okay. Oh, went too far. Boom! Is that switch switched? See, it should be closed right now, is it? You don't think that she's going to cut my finger off if it decides to turn, do you? Nope. It's not pushed. Okay, so the bracket's bent, or the thing's not centered right, or something, or the blade needs bent, but it should be closed right now, and it's not. So let me figure out why. Something... It looks like it's sitting in the cabinet right, but maybe it's not centered right or something, or maybe the bracket needs changed, or the switch needs moved or something. But that's our problem. So we need to get it where that switch is touching whenever it's in that place. And then whenever it gets back around to that dent, it should open. Okay, so I was actually able to move it pretty significantly by just loosening the screws. So it's got a lot of adjustment in there. So they designed that where you can move it around pretty good. So what I did was, there was that indentation there. So I slid it up until it was closed, and then slid it back till it was open, but it's pretty close to closed whenever it goes in that indentation. So as it goes through to the next face, it's letting me turn it counterclockwise and clockwise. So if I turn it, it looks like it's going to go to another indentation, and then the next one will be open. So let's see. Yeah, see how the switch says, see how it's blinking? It's because it's hitting it as it's up on that high spot. And then on that spot, there's the whole thing's a high spot. So I would imagine that is how it's supposed to be. So I think we fixed our switch. But I took off the face that's the eyeballs. I don't think that's the first face. So whenever we start the game, I think it'll reset back to the first face. But we need to mess with that switch that the little thing fell off of. So let me go find that again and see if I can get it on there better. So it looks like maybe the little stud that is supposed to hold this thing is broke off. That one's kind of broke off too. I mean, it's there, but I don't know if that's enough to hold it. The one on the other side sticks out farther. So what I'll try to do is take this, see how it's bent out a little bit? I'll try to bend it back in a little bit to where it holds a little better, and then I'll pop it on and see if it's easy to knock off. Because the problem is, if it's just barely on there, if the ball's going to land on it all the time, and it might just knock it right off again. So I'll see if I can make it a little tighter, and if it'll hold on well after I do that, or if we need to replace the switch. Alright, so I got it on there pretty good. It doesn't seem like it's going to pop off. This one's bent completely different. Trying to decide. Yeah, this one I might need to bend it over that way, but we'll figure out whenever we put the face back on to see how they're supposed to fall in there. But I think the switch is going to be fine. It seems like it. This bracket looks like it's bent all to hell. Boy, these things get a lot of abuse over the years, don't they? They've been playing the crap out of this thing. It's all the stuff inside bent up and everything. Alright, so I'm going to go into the test, and we'll see if the switches work and if the solenoids work. Because basically when the ball lands in her mouth, it pops back out. When the ball lands in her eyes, it pops back out. Alright, so there are some test menus just for the head. There is the head motor switch. That's the one we were just messing with. the head coil, which are the 3 popper coils, I guess, and the head cycle, the helmet lights, which we took off, the head manual. That was the one where we were moving it ourselves. So let's see. Let's do the head motor switch. I did that earlier, and it tried to home the head, it said. So let's see if it can home the head. Homing head, please wait. Boy, it homed the hell out of the head. It had no problem doing that. Okay, so that all seems fine. All right. So the head motor switch appears to be working fine. The head coil. Head mount. This one. That ain't good. Okay, so do you see what it just did? I turned it to head mouth and it went back to this part. It thinks this is the head with the hole for the mouth. So that displays on the wrong spot, I believe. Let's try it again. Yeah. And it thinks that's the one with the left eye. Head mouth, head left eye. It thinks that's the one with the eyes. Head right eye, it thinks that's the one with the eyes. And it thinks that's the one with the mouth. That's all screwed up. We're going to have to move all the faces. There's only 2 screws to hold each one on, but I think it's got the faces in the wrong spot. Okay, head cycle. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that ain't working, people. They're in the wrong spot. Let's see if our switches work. I think we can test them in here. Let's see. Head mouth, head left eye, head right eye. Okay, so the switches work. I believe the faces are in the wrong position, and it sounded like all 3 of the coils were popping up, but it sounded like they were hitting the back of the piece of plastic that they shouldn't be hitting. Okay, so that would explain. He was saying that whenever the balls landed in her eyes, it would just pop them right back out. The stuff just wasn't working right, etc., etc. So I think we figured out why. It's because they're in the wrong spot. So if they were landing in her eyes, they shouldn't be. And the machine thought that it wasn't on the face that had the holes in the eye. So there's 4 faces. Face 1, you activate speech, the ball lands in her mouth. Face 2, you activate the optics, the ball lands in her eyes. Phase 3, activate the machine. I think it just goes through on that one. And then phase 4 turns her into a woman. So probably what was happening is it thought it was on phase 1, which is activate speech, but the ball was landing in her eyes. And then just kicking it out because it wasn't lined up right. So I can see where that would be confusing, though. If you had all 4 of them off, how the hell would you know which one goes where? A little bit confusing. I can see that. And I guess it could mess you up if you didn't know if it was turning clockwise or counterclockwise. So, okay. Let's do this. The one, we got to figure out which one is supposed to be what, I guess. Head coil. So we're in a, it's tripping again. So it thinks that's the one with the eyes. So I'm going to take that one off and put the one with the eyes on that one. And then we can figure it out from there. Alright, we have another problem. So this is the one, we were trying to take off the one with the mouth, put on the one with the eyes, but you can't. They have the screw holes in different places, to help you figure out which face goes where. So those two cannot be swapped. So what's going on? Well, one of two things. It could be that the motor is wired backwards. The motor can go forward and backwards, so it might be... See how I have the two next to each other that are taken off? It might be that the motor... let me think. Yeah, it could be that the wires have been swapped on the motor and it's running backwards, because it'll go either way. On here it allows you to turn it clockwise and counterclockwise. So it could be that the wires have been swapped and the motor was replaced at some point and the wires are backwards, so it's turning the wrong direction and it doesn't know that. It thinks it's turning clockwise when it's turning counterclockwise or something like that. You know, there was a clockwise and counterclockwise thing in there. Head cycle, head manual control. So plus goes clockwise. That's clockwise the way we're looking at it, kind of. Right? And minus goes counterclockwise. So it could be that. It could be the wires are swapped on it, or it could be that the cam we were talking about is completely backwards, but I don't think... I'm just thinking out loud here, people. This is stuff we try to figure out. I'm thinking it's the freaking wires are backwards. That's my opinion. So this is how it designates the motor in the manual. It doesn't really show you which one goes where, and I can't get a good look at it because it's all the way on the bottom of the cabinet, and the playfield just pivots up, so I'd have to take the whole motor assembly apart to check. That's the theory I'm operating on, though, that if those wires are reversed, it might be turning clockwise instead of counterclockwise, and it thinks it's calibrated, but things are off. Okay, well, now with that said, it shows in here what order to put the faces on. Okay, so here are the 4 faceplates in the manual. Now you see 14130, 14131, 14132, 14133. See how they're in order? So faceplate 1 is the mouth, faceplate 2 is the eyes, faceplate 3 is just a plain one, faceplate 4 is also a plain one. And look at the mounting screws. Faceplate 1, the mouth one, it can only go one way. See how the hole is down on the left and up at the top right? And then the other ones are all top left, bottom right, top left, bottom right, top left, and bottom right. So faceplate 1 can only go in one position, but ours is in the wrong position, so I don't see how that is. It must not be calibrated right, or maybe that switch isn't acting as well as we think it is. But this is the only one that has one on the bottom left, so the first one has to go in that position. None of the other 3 will fit in that position. Okay, so I think maybe we've got it right. We need to calibrate it. You know, I think we've just got it confused because we've been hitting switches and messing with stuff. So I'm going to go back out of the menu, and it says in the manual that whenever it goes back out into the game, it will try to home the face. So it's on home right now, but let's see what it does whenever we exit. Okay, it should stop on the mouth. Okay, so let's go back into test and see if it will do its thing. That one that said cycle, head cycle or whatever, that should test them as it goes through. Head motor switch, head coils, head cycle does the coils on its own, so let's see what happens. Homing head, please wait. Okay, yep, so it did the mouth there. And that's the one that's the eyes. Shouldn't do anything there. Shouldn't do anything there. Alright, cool. Alright. It appears that it knows where it is. Yeah, so let's see here. If I move it, head motor switch again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, yep. They're in the right order and everything. Well, I need to turn it so I can put that one on it. Looks like they're in the right order. Looks like we've about got it. So I think we just need to play it a little bit. If it'll play. We haven't played it yet. Head manual. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mount the other face back on, and then we'll mock it up in gameplay and drop the balls in and see if it seems like it's doing what it should. Okay, so we'll leave it with the helmet off for now. Now, he was saying that the balls would never stay where they're supposed to be and all of this, but there's extra balls in the machine. So far I have found 5, and I think there's another one up in the in the scoop up there. So I think there's 6 balls in the game as we speak. So let me put 2 back in. How about that? Let's put 2 in. There's supposed to be 3. So there's 2 here, and I think there's 1 up there in that corner. So we'll see if the thing will try to start, or if it'll find that ball up there. Once coins, our sound is working with that brand new soundboard. Okay, let's see if she'll do anything. It's looking for one. I could have swore I saw one up there, but maybe not. Let's throw another one in there. I think there's something going on with this top scoop thing. Okay, so we'll shoot it. We're going to cheat. We're going to cheat, people. Let's cheat. Okay. Went up. Drop down. Voice activated. I can speak. She's moved on. She's moved on. Oh, I went too far. I got over to Pinbot. There we go. Did it see it? I don't think it hit the switch. Yeah, it can't. The ball didn't actually hit the switch. Alright. So I gotta adjust those. Alright, so let's adjust the switches up through the hole a little bit. I'll look in the manual and see how they're supposed to look, and we'll try to make them look like that. Okay, folks, so I adjusted them a little bit, and you have to be careful, though. If they're too high, you know, it'll hit the other faces as it goes around. So let's see if it works any better now. Come on down. Whoop, not enough. Whoop, not enough. Too much. It's pretty cool how you can hear Pinbot's voice. All right, we're up the ramp. It has made it to the second eye. I mean the second face. Up the ramp. All right, that one worked. Oop. All right, here we go. Here we go. Are you ready? Two ball, multi-ball. Well, the kickers aren't working. Got to hit something though, so it knows that the ball's still on the playfield. Metamorphosis. Oh, it happened. So I think since I didn't hit the ramp, it didn't know what was going on. The Big Wheel Billionaire Club. Oh, we won a free game, but we cheated. All right, so I think we've got the face working as it should, people. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount the helmet back on it, so we can see how it's intended to look. We obviously have a lot of other things we need to work on, but we'll get that kind of where it's at least functional. Okay, folks, so we put the helmet back on it, and I think we got a little bit accomplished there, where it's at least homing now. Now, in the first video, whenever we turned the thing on, basically that thing would just run over and over and over again, and it couldn't find the home position. And you saw why. So now you kind of know how the thing works. If you end up with this game, it'll give you something to work on. We had to order a whole ton of little parts and LEDs and stuff like that for it, and little screws and little plastic covers and all kinds of stuff. So we're just getting started working through this thing. But leave your comments below. Let us know what you think so far. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Hey, one of our viewers, John, stopped in the other day and talked to us. Hey, John, that was cool hanging out with you, man. He was telling me that it took him a while to figure out how to do the thumbs up thing. So depending on how you're watching the video, that may be easier said than done. But we appreciate that. And also make sure to check out our website. If you go to lionsarcade.com, we have all of our games for sale on our website. And we also have parts on there. So like some of the stuff we use whenever we do repairs, we have links to things on Amazon. And if you buy anything on Amazon after clicking one of our links, even if it's something that is not on the link, so like if you go buy a house or something on Amazon, it gives us a little tip for sending you there, so we appreciate that. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie, who is literally my brother. And if you haven't seen his channel, if you like watching us work on these old pinball machines, you'd probably like watching us work on old buildings. He's got a couple buildings in a small town near here in the downtown area that we're fixing up so we can help revitalize downtown, and it's pretty fun. They're 100-year-old buildings, so go check that out if you haven't already. It's the My Brother Donnie channel. The link is down below, and we'll see you on the next video.